Okay, so this was something I was going to post yesterday, but was having some technical problems and had to deal with some family stuff. But yeah, it's now 4 days after the presidential election. Part 2 will be released and was also filmed yesterday, but didn't really have time to edit and don't know how to do that on an iPad. So, yeah. I'm going to address this. It's 2 days before Veterans Day. I should probably say something about Veterans Day first and foremost. But tomorrow. Tomorrow. Here I'm going to address kind of the weird thing going on. Y'all Democrats have lost all hope just because you lost the election? Project 2025. I'll discuss that in part 2. Don't you worry. But for now, this is something that's been bothering me for the past 3 days. You're all pissed off that you lost. I get it. And don't get me wrong, Donald Trump wouldn't have accepted if he lost either. And had he lost, his supporters would probably be as depressed and as hopeless feeling as you guys are. But the one thing that really bothers me about this is a lot of you have said that you can't believe in your country anymore, or that your faith in the American people was misplaced. What was misplaced was your faith in the Democratic Party, not the American people. And it's this attitude that lost the election. This attitude that because you lose this one time, just because you lose this one time, you immediately see that all hope is lost? That attitude, that is depressing, sickening, and it's not a motivator for the people. A criticism I had of Donald Trump in 2020, a criticism I'm sure many people have had about Donald Trump. Politics is not just throwing shade at your opponent. You have to do something to try to make yourself look good. Donald Trump never does that. And I'm sorry to tell you this, Kamala Harris fans, but she doesn't either. Her and Trump are cut from exactly the same cloth in that regard. Neither of them knows how to make themselves look good. They only know how to insult the other. What all has Harris done during the campaign? Fearmonger, pander to you, and insult Donald Trump. Donald Trump has done exactly the same. Don't get me wrong. He's also a fucking worthless bag of shit. Okay, that's not fair. But, okay, that's not fair, Donald fans. Okay. The problem is that neither of these two people knows how to make themselves look good. And this depressing attitude, this, oh, well, because you didn't vote for who I wanted, I don't have faith in you anymore. That California Valley bitch crap. That's what lost you guys this election. Because rather than say, we'll get them next time, you panic. And you claim that Trump is the one who incites fear in the people. And I have no doubt he does. But Harris doesn't make that fear any better. She prolongs it to try and buy your vote. I can't vote for that. And that's part of why I will not join either of America's ass-backwards political parties. Because I can't live in that depressive mindset for my entire life. I can't revolve how I feel every single day around the results of the election. And Kamala Harris, I don't know what she's like as a person, as I've never met her personally. Is she a better person than Donald Trump? I can't confirm that. I can't confirm that. All that I can confirm is I feel sorry for you Democrats. Because if you're going to if you're going to live your entire lives on fear, if you're going to live every single day of your life terrified of some government project that, I am sorry, has no hope of ever becoming reality, and I will touch on that in part 2, I feel sorry for you, because you will never know what true happiness is if you spend your entire life living in fear. Republicans? Well, to throw a shade at you guys for a minute, because you deserve this shade thrown at you, y'all have basically decided to devolve into monkeys. Monkeys that just do whatever Donald Trump says, even when what he says is total bullshit. And I'm sorry, a lot of what comes out of Donald Trump's mouth is total bullshit. The Republican Party is not what it once was, but neither is the Democratic Party. There's a point where both of you might have gotten my respect, but my respect doesn't go to parties. It goes to people. I have friends and family from both sides of the political spectrum. If you are my friend, that's what I put ahead of politics. If you are one of my family, family always comes first. Family is supposed to stick together, no matter what. And I love my family. And I'm not going to let something as stupid as this rip us apart. But, yeah. And I know someone in the comments is going to be like, oh, but Donald Trump is a terrible person. Oh, you're a centrist. Or, oh, but Kamala Harris is smarter than Donald Trump to address all three. I'm aware of the type of person he is. That doesn't make it right for you to be just as bad, or even worse. I kind of like being a centrist. The center is not a bad place to be. You get to talk to more than one variety of person. And Kamala Harris is so much smarter. 5% smarter than a bag of shit is still only 5% smarter than a bag of shit. Like, to be an independent is probably the best thing you can do in this day and age. I know why more of us don't get elected. Yes, hello, kitty. Say hello to the kitty, ladies and gentlemen. And the dog. Anyways, yes. So, being an independent is probably the best thing you can be, especially if you are just the average, everyday American. You don't have to revolve your whole life around an ass backward, failing the country political institution. But if you choose to, and you can't have faith in your country or your people just because we decided to think for ourselves, we decided to choose a candidate we liked, what is wrong with you? I personally, I voted for a candidate who I knew had no chance of winning. If I didn't go out and vote at all, well, then I'd have no right to bitch and moan either way. And I hate when Democrats use the phrase, waste your vote. Wasting your vote is having the chance and not using it. But because I did use it, I did not waste it. So don't ever, and I say this especially to one liberal relative of mine who has used that phrase multiple times, do not ever say that to me again. It breaks my heart to see just how far from grace we have fallen. One of my favorite show creators, who created not one but two series that are very close to my heart. I won't say her name because she's been through a rough couple of days. Psst, but if you're listening, good news, the asshole who hacked you has been arrested. Here's hoping he faces the worst prison sentence one can get. And if the Russian hacker is listening to this, I hope you get sodomized in prison, asshole. Yeah, my advice for the Russian hacker, who I know is going to do this again, he's been arrested and he's been fined. But if you do this again, to the Russian hacker, if you ever do this again, keep in mind your country is still at war. And I would focus less on ruining someone else's life and more on protecting my own. Sound fair? Anyway, but yeah. I won't reveal the name of the show creator because, yeah, she's had her rough couple of days, but I will say, for you to say you just can't believe in your country anymore because we chose someone that you didn't like, and yes, I know, so many people are going to rally and say Donald Trump is a horrible person. Another reason Kamala lost, look at who she's VP under. Yeah, it's become cliche to make fun of Joe Biden at this point. But the man makes it so easy! And I hate to tell you this, Democrats, but Joe Biden is not a fucking angel. I didn't want to bring this up, especially so close to Veterans Day. But here is why I will never join either of your parties. Republicans constantly claim that Trump is better when it comes to the military, even when there are times he has openly disrespected a member of the military. Trump's words are never pretty, and there are times he deserves a good punch to the face or kick to the nuts or something. Joe Biden? Pardon me if I find it hard to sympathize with a man who falls asleep at a Marine's funeral. Those who don't know the story, shortly after the Afghanistan pullout, a member of the USMC made sure that a good chunk of his buddies got back to the States. He was KIA. His body was recovered and returned to the States. Joe Biden attended the funeral, as is one of his duties as Commander-in-Chief. Sits next to the Marine's mother, and he falls asleep during the eulogy. I don't care who you are. I don't care what party you align with. I don't care what position you serve. You don't do that. You do not fall asleep at the funeral of a man who sacrificed his life so that we, the ever ungrateful American people, can enjoy the freedoms we so stupidly take for granted. You don't fall asleep next to a woman who's sitting next to a woman whose son died so that your pasty, fallen apart ass can enjoy the title of president. And you just fall asleep while she is mourning a dead son. If you can't tell by my reaction there, I have a long history of family in the U.S. military. If you did that to one of us, we don't care that you had Secret Service with you. We would have killed you where you stood, Joe. Because that man gave his life for us. That poor woman was mourning her son. And you are stupid enough to fall asleep. But Biden is old. That doesn't excuse this. It doesn't. Now, those of us who have family in the military or are military, knowing that about Biden, can't vote for Kamala. Because what are the chances she won't do the same thing? Trump is an asshole, I'll give you that. And I'm not joining the Republican Party either. But I can't join you when your politicians do terrible shit too, and you want to act like they're angels. I shouldn't call out that show creator in such a way, especially after these rough couple days, but I don't think you should lose faith in your country. Lose faith in your political party? Absolutely. Like, those of you who know me personally will know that I have blamed everything wrong in America on political parties themselves. Not just one or the other. The fact that we have these absolutely failing institutions. I've never been either a Democrat or Republican. And if y'all keep up with the bullshit you're doing, you don't give me a good reason to join either one. You can keep telling me that I'm wasting my vote by voting for someone who won't win. Beauty of being an American, I don't have to listen to you. All that aside, you had to know, Kamala supporters, that either way, someone was going to be upset. Either way, someone was going to be pissed off. Either way, there would be violence in the United States. All that mattered, who's going to light the dynamite? And now we have to see who will light it. The last bit of advice I'm going to give to you all, to this series creator, I know you may not like me because of my verbiage, but I think you do amazing work. Don't let what's happened these couple days get you down. You're still a fine artist and maybe not a perfect writer, but you don't need to be. You're good. You're still a great one. Ignore the haters and do what you love. To the rest of you, to those of you who know that America must remain free, do not give up. I know things seem terrible right now. Things always get worse before they get better, but they do get better. And believe me when I say, they absolutely will. It just will not be overnight. I know you don't want to hear that right now, but you need to. Things will get better. We just need to be patient. Stand by for part 2, which was recorded yesterday, which is why I'd look a little different there, and yeah. And yeah. Freedom for America.